Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Kaz and I'm an intuitive and a healer. In today's video we're going to be asking the fairy realm what messages they have for us. I have three groups to choose from. In group 1 I have Unakite, Turquoise and White Calcite. In group 2 I cannot remember the name of this crystal for the life of me. If anyone knows, pop it into the comments, that'll be appreciated. I have Citrine and I have Prehnite, and in group 3 I have Green, Calcite, Super 7 and Aventurine. I'm going to do a group collective reading from the fairies first of all, so you might like to watch that because it will apply globally and then go to your specific group. The timestamps are in the description. I'll see you at your reading. Okay, I'm just going to tune in here and see what the fairy realm would like to tell us as a collective. I'm getting a lot of giggly energy. Fairies are very childlike and a little bit mischievous, but also flighty. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to grasp their energy. Alright, I'm getting a higher being that's coming in to speak for them, because sometimes what they want to say cannot be put into words succinctly. So here have I've got Merlin's coming in. So I work quite closely with Merlin anyway, so he's coming in to help with this. I'm getting a lot of heat from this. There's a lot of joy associated with this as well. Merlin says that the fairies want to reward you as a group for allowing them to be seen and for allowing them to do the work that they do. They see all the kind souls in this group, and they see that plants are being nurtured and the earth is being looked after by this group, and they want to say thank you. Their joy in this world is from plant life, and they really want to encourage you to plant more plants and to really step into the energy of plants, because there is so much to be found and so much to be worked out by humans. We haven't even scratched the surface on what plants can do for us yet. Yes, we know some of the physical mechanisms. Yes, we already use it in medicines. Yes, we know a little bit about energy in relation to flower essences, but there's a lot more things and a lot deeper than what we're aware of at this point. So they want you as a group to plant flowers, not just plants, but flowers as well. And they're happy for you to grow food and things, because that's what nurtures you internally. But they want you to start focusing on flowers, particularly flowers that you have sown from seed yourself and nurtured into a flowering plant. Because what they are saying is that's where the energy lies. It's that nurturing that goes into it. And that's part of their job too. They nurture the flowers. They nurture the plants. But they want you to start stepping into their energy, because for some of you there's something to be found there. And I'm getting... I had something a little bit earlier as I was speaking, and I seem to have lost the thread because it was very flighty. And I'm feeling that there's a crisscross between several groups of fairies here. So as I said earlier, their energy is very innocent and childlike. So their organisation isn't the best structured because of that reason. So let's go back to Merlin and tune back in, because I feel like the fairies are taking over here, which I want them to communicate with us, but I just want to go back to Merlin, and he just says continue with the fairies. Okay, so here was the gateway to get us there. Okay, so one group of fairies is saying that there's a stream of consciousness that really connects to flowers, and in this stream of consciousness you reach a higher awareness. So they're showing me here someone sitting and meditating and staring, holding a flower and staring at the flower as they meditate. And they've got me in an outside situation here, so somewhere in a natural setting. And what you will find is, as you really connect to that flower, and they're seeing me, I'm seeing it's still connected to the plant, so it's still earthbound and really connect to the flower, still holding it. You are opening your awareness to so much more, and you're opening your awareness to something that's in our DNA that we haven't quite discovered yet, and something that it's like a gateway or a portal. Now, this is a very positive thing. It's not something that's got any trickery to it or any mischievousness. It's a very much a positive thing. And it's to do with that realisation that we are not the only sentient beings on the planet, and we are not superior to everything on the planet as a whole, as we like to think as a whole. So there's that as well, and it's going to trigger something in certain people's DNA that is going to open up gifts from the past that ancient people had. So there's a lovely little exercise for you as well. And there's something deeper as well. So I'm getting this from the other group of fairies who have a different purpose, if you like. And this particular group are talking about plant life as a whole. And they're saying that we are very fortunate to have plant life. There are planets where there's no plant life, or very basic plant life. And here we have such a multitude. They want us to step away from hybridizing plants and manipulating plants, because you dilute the essence of the plant in that way. So, for instance, if you wanted to make a flower essence out of a particular flower, if it's a hybridized or genetically modified plant, you're not getting the pure form of the plant. So there may need to be some investigation into what you are planting and whether this is its original form. Now, we know that over centuries and centuries things have been manipulated. I only found out the other day that tomatoes were originally orange and not red. So there are a lot of manipulations that have gone on over the years to our benefit and for the crop's benefit, for our edible food sources. But just be aware with flowers, it doesn't have to be that way. And you can always ask the fairies to help you grow your little garden. And they will be very, very pleased to help out. But there are discoveries to be made with certain plants and certain flowers that have not yet come into our awareness as either a medicinal or a topical, a herbal or an essence. There's something else around that they're not giving me the full picture here, because maybe I'm not meant to have it, but someone will discover it. Hopefully it's you. Okay, we're going to get back to each individual group now. So I will see you at your reading. Thank you to the fairies and thank you to Merlin for stepping in to help us bridge that gap. Group 1, welcome to your reading. I feel it's going to be a little whimsical. I'm getting very whimsical energy here, so I don't know how clear the messages are going to be, so let's have a look here. All right, Group 1, I feel that you're a very fortunate group. You have a lot to give, and a lot is going to be given to you as well. And it may be that you've done all your giving in the past and now you're reaping the rewards for it. So this isn't really a fairy reading as such. It's them giving me the information about your life. So if you're at a point in your life where you've been manifesting and you've been working towards something and nothing's happening, there's been a stalemate, the fairies are telling me that things are about to change. And suddenly, in your external awareness, for you to see and for others to see, there will be a great change in fortune. Congratulations. And I'm getting that there is a certain band of fairies that follows you around. So if you have moved a lot or been travelling, there is a certain group of fairies that come with you. Often they stay where plants are. I'm just trying to get what they're saying to me here. Often they stay in one place with a certain garden. Let's say you planted a lovely garden in a house and you moved. The energy of that garden goes with you, but they stay with those plants. But with you in particular, I'm getting that these fairies follow you because there is a certain job that you have to do with plants, and they are helping to facilitate this. So if you live in a city, you may want to build a garden that you can truly appreciate and other people can appreciate too. You may have already done this, and the fairies are applauding you if you've done this. Now, this doesn't have to be anything on a grand scale. It could be a couple of pots in the backyard. But I'm getting for this group that if you aren't already a gardener, you will soon become a gardener. And there's a lot to learn from that. But these particular fairies are helping you with that. And they're helping you with one job in particular. Now, what I'm getting here is that in past lives, you've certainly been attached to the land. And the lives that I'm connecting with are definitely earthbound, so they're here on earth. And in some of these lives, you have been very destructive to the land, and in other lives, you have been very nurturing to the land. And what's coming forth now, there's not karma as such attached to this behaviour. It's more about connecting now, not just nurturing for food sources or prettiness, but really connecting to the land and the fruit that abounds from it. I'm not just talking about edible fruit, I'm talking about all plant life. They're also showing me a pond and frogs at the moment. So this may have been something that you've considered before, but if you are considering building a garden, they would like you to include a pond and some frogs. Now the frogs will come naturally to the pond, but it may have been something you've been considering and haven't done yet, but they would like you to do that. And I'm getting a whole aquaponics ecosystem with plants, maybe permaculture, something that is a balanced ecosystem for everything in the garden. So there may be some courses you might like to look at, or some videos on YouTube, or something that helps you with this. Because, and I'm seeing a blueprint, it's almost like you're going to build it from the ground up. And there is great fortune in this, I'm hearing. I think that the fortune lies in the fact that you are going to probably have the funds to do what you want here, and it doesn't mean then building a concrete driveway over your whole property. It's about really balancing the ecosystem around you. And this can be in the suburbs, it can be rural or country. And it's going to help a lot of people in some way. It may be that you want to do a YouTube channel that's dedicated to building a garden. It may be that you want to show people in your local area how they can build a garden. I'm now seeing chickens as well, and other like bird life, even ducks. I guess if you've got a big enough pond, you could have ducks. So they're showing me like a balancing out. And it's almost like the people in this group are going to be the forerunners of this. And it may be that people are used to either having concrete or standard landscaping that doesn't really add to the environment. It doesn't take away, but it doesn't add so much. And they want to, and what I'm being shown is in the future, people will have purposeful gardens like they used to in the past. So every garden, well, not every garden, but a lot of gardens were sources of food for people. And they would like people to get back to that stage at least. But also there's a deeper meaning here, something where the garden nurtures you as much as you nurture the garden. And they're trying to encourage people to get out of their houses and into the garden again. Okay, group 1, what a lovely little message for you. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you feel attracted to any of the other groups, there may be a message there for you. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Group 2, welcome to your reading. I'm just going to channel the fairy realms here. I'm getting quite a different message here, a different feeling to the last group. And what I'm getting here is water sources. Now, the fairies tend to deal with plants, but they have cousins, if you like, who deal with water sources. So the sprites are what usually deal with water sources. And they're particularly showing me a river and how rehabilitation needs to be done to this particular river. So they're showing me a long time of settlement along the river and how it's become barren of plants, and how there should be a symbiosis between the river and the plants. So you have a strong connection to the river as a group. I'm not really getting ocean, maybe lakes, but you know, this is more inland. I'm not really feeling inland. It can be adjacent to an ocean or a sea, but I'm feeling that there's a strong connection here. You may have had past lives in this particular area, no matter where in the world it is, and how things have affected the river. And now they're showing me like a big factory pumping stuff into a river, and how over the years water sources like rivers have been used to dump things in. So they're showing me like a big clean-up and rehabilitation. So it can be any waterway, but rehabilitation is what they're showing me here, and you may be instrumental in this. So if you're a person that's drawn to rivers or lake beds in particular, they want you to pay attention here. Now I'm feeling there's a group, and it's a conservation group that really works with the land and the river in particular. And they want you to keep an eye out for it, because it's almost like you have this tiny calling in this life to be connected to that. And you may not sense it yet, but it may come in later years where you feel where you feel a calling towards a water source that needs help and needs attention. And I'm getting that there is almost, for some of you, not all of you, but for some of you, a soul contract to really get heavily involved in this mission in this lifetime. And that you may just want a house near a river or a lake. And that's because there's energy calling you there. And you may find, let's say you move to the side of a river, and there may be a group of homeowners there who are really concerned with maintaining that river, and you will join them and help them with their cause. For some of you, you will initiate this and you will form the group. But there's certainly a lot of water-based energy with this group. There may be Lemurian connections. And I'm feeling that it's almost a place of soothing for your soul. So if you aren't there yet, it doesn't matter. You will eventually get there. I feel for some of you, you might be in a time in your life where it's very busy. You may have just started a new career, or you might have young children or something like that. But later on, when life settles down a bit, you'll be really drawn to where you want to be, near a river or a lake. You may already have a holiday home in a place like this, and I feel that you're going to spend more and more time there. I feel that part of you is actually aching for that, and the river sprites are telling me that your energy really resonates with the body of water. So even if you live in an apartment in a concrete block, there may be a body of water near you that you're really drawn to. And that I'm seeing almost like a hidden river or a hidden brook or something that was there, a couple of 100 years ago and isn't there anymore, but you can still feel that energy because it's near you. So even if it's not physically visible to the eyes, it's around. The energy of it is. And they're showing me that the Romans had it wrong. There weren't river gods. There were river species. And it wasn't about worshipping the species. It wasn't about worshipping the species. It was about being in symbiosis. So having a partnership with the species to manifest what they wanted. So for you as a group, if you want to manifest anything, water is the way to go. So there is water magic that you can do. You can also just go to a body of water and put your intentions on a piece of biodegradable paper. They're showing me they don't want littering and they don't want rubbish in there, but something that is going to break down and perhaps not damage any of the ecosystem. Maybe write it on a leaf or something like that, and then pop it into the water. And your energy works very well with that and bringing things to fruition that way. They're now showing me you being given thanks, because there's part of you that really works, and maybe not in an aggressive way and maybe not in an overtly way, but you are very mindful of what you do around water sources. And they're showing me someone who doesn't tip things down the sink that shouldn't be there, and someone who doesn't flush things down the toilet that shouldn't be going down the toilet. So they're showing me someone who's quite mindful of what their actions have on the environment as a whole, but particularly waterways. And they want to give you thanks for that. And they want to give you thanks for encouraging other people to behave the same way. And I don't feel like this is an aggressive energy where you're strident and you mustn't do this and you mustn't do that. It's very much, I'm the role model here. This is what we do. And this is why we do it. And it's a really loving, gentle energy. So group 2, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed that message. If it doesn't sound relevant to you now, my feeling is that it will be relevant to you in years to come. And you may not think that now because you may be so far away from that energy now, but it is coming and it's flowing towards you like a river. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next reading. Pile 3, I was just having a little giggle because your fairies are very impatient. They've been waiting and you're the last group and they really want to speak to you. It's very childlike, very excited, very energetic, and also quite flighty as well. So I'll see if I'll see if I'm able to get the messages clearly for you. So let's see here. Oh, I'm hearing the term sandwiches. I have no idea why. Why am I getting sandwiches? And they're talking particularly about jam sandwiches. I don't know if you're someone who likes jam. They're showing me jam on toast as well. Okay, So I think what they're getting at here is that for you to be in your most tip-top condition and tip-top health, you need to grow your own food. And it may be that you already do this to some extent, but now I'm seeing like strawberries being processed for jam, and someone canning vegetables or pickles or preserving, making sauerkraut, all that sort of thing. So this may be something you already do, and if you do, they're giving me little claps. They're actually giving each other high fives. If it's something you thought about doing, here's the prod to do it, because, and I feel for some of you may have attempted this in the past and you weren't successful, but I feel like there's a new energy and a new push and it will be successful. So you may start off doing this, sorry, I just kicked the camera, I think. You may start off doing this on a small scale, but it may grow and you may be feeding people around you as well as yourself. Or you may turn it into an enterprise where you were selling it at a market stall or a farmer's market, or even a large scale production. But I feel that this is coming from a deep, deep source within you, and the fairies have connected to that. They've come and found you. It's like they've flown around the world and they've found you, because that's the energy that they want for the world. They want that. They're showing me big trucks transporting vegetables and how half of them are rotten. And they don't want that. They want people to go out into the garden and pick vegetables and have them nice and fresh for vitality. And for this group in particular, I'm feeling it's linked to your health. So you may have had some health issues in the past and you've resolved them with food, or if you have existing health problems, really lightening up your diet and putting a lot of fresh vegetables, homegrown, pesticide-free, organic vegetables will really help with what's going on physically. And I feel like there's different clans. I want to use that word, clans of fairies. And each clan has a different job. And you're working with several of those clans to actually grow food. So it may be that one clan is responsible for decay and breaking down of food. Another clan is responsible for the soil and building up of the soil. And another one's responsible for the plant itself. So I feel like there's a whole strata of fairies that they're just giggling because I burped and as I was channeling, and they gave a little giggle. So they're very funny and childlike. And I'm really actually not a burper, but often when I channel I do burp, so apologies. So let's go back to this. Yeah, different stratas of fairies working on different things. So you're not just working with one group of fairies, you're working with different groups. You may already be in this role of home gardener and growing your own sustainable garden, your own vegetables and putting back into the earth. I'm seeing some chickens as well. You may already be doing this, or you may have been thinking about doing this. If you've been thinking about it, it's definitely time to do it. And I feel for some of you, you're complete novices and complete beginners, and others of you have been doing this for a while. So for you that are beginners to this, you are going to get a lot of help from the fairies. And if you're not sure what to do about something, I would say sit down and meditate, because you'll be given the answer. I'm seeing also a cat prowling around the vegetables, and it's someone's cat. It may be your cat. But for some reason their energy is going into the goodness of the plant. So I don't know why they're showing me that, but I guess other creatures lend their energy to good growth of things. And I'm not actually seeing like the cat digging up your veggies or anything. It's more like the cat is lending their energy to the whole ecosystem of the vegetable garden. And now I'm seeing someone in a deck chair in a garden that's lovely and abundant, sitting there and really enjoying it, sitting back with a cold drink. And it's like the fairies are all sort of like got their own little deck chairs all around it, and they're sitting back and admiring it as well. So it's going to be a nice place for you to rest and rejuvenate after gardening. But also I feel like your body needs it as well. You need somewhere where you can sit and rest and rejuvenate and admire your handiwork. I'm even getting people exercising in the garden near the vegetables for some reason. I'm not sure, maybe you already do this. Maybe that's where you do yoga, near your vegetable garden if you've got one. But some of it is related to getting outside and getting exercise and being in the garden, but it's more like a formal exercise that you're doing adjacent to the vegetables. And I see 3 people involved in this endeavour. So you may have 3 people living in your household, or you may have more, and 2 others will come and join you and be excited about having a vegetable garden. If this isn't something you're attracted to at this particular time, I encourage you to look at some videos on gardening, because it may just really stir something deep within you, and you may start to become interested in it if you haven't been interested before. I'm getting that as light workers, we're all encouraged to do this, to grow our own food and to have it nurture us as we nurture the plants. Now the fairies are showing that they're tired and they want to have a nap, because it's hard for them to get messages across sometimes. They have little fast energy is what I'm getting, so sometimes they need to withdraw. It's probably because I'm inside, and they do much better communicating outside. So if you ever want to communicate with any of your clans, I suggest you do it outside. Okay, group 3, that was really cute. That's all the messages I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in my next one.